welcome and thank you for tuning in. Virginia Tech men's basketball squeaked out an 80-78 victory over Miami in ACC play at home in Castle Coliseum. Now the Hokies were up 7 points with about a minute left. It really looked like, after a great layup from Tyrece Radford in transition, that the Hokies were going to lock this up. However, some really poorly timed turnovers from the Hokies, after playing great defense late in the game, almost cost Virginia Tech dearly. And when Virginia Tech was only up 1 point with Wabisa Bede going to the free throw line, I was really sweating this. At that point, I really believed that Miami was going to somehow pull off this win. Now, the Hurricanes trailed in the second half by 17 points. So, of course, Miami never should have been this close down the stretch. It was such a stressful game to watch at the very end. But thankfully, Virginia Tech pulled it out, and massive credit to the player of the game, Keve Aluma. You could tell by his interview answers he could not be done with his interview quickly enough. He had 26 points and 6 rebounds. You know, he missed some bunnies, of course, but such an important player for Virginia Tech, so skilled. He can face up to the basket. He can play with his back to the basket. Look, Virginia Tech does not have an illustrious history of great big men. So for all of you Hokie basketball history aficionados out there, I would love to know in the comments, is Keve Aluma the best big man Virginia Tech has ever had? Because he's certainly the best I've ever seen. Just a terrific player. Of course, not necessarily the kind of guy you want the offense to run through. I've said it before now that Nahiem Alleyne is the X factor for this team. For Virginia Tech to win, it is so important for Alleyne to play well. And unfortunately, he was pretty quiet tonight for his standards, scoring only 7 points. It's so important that he gets open for three, attacks the basket, plays his game, because he is so talented, brings so much to the table, but the performances, unfortunately, are still a little bit inconsistent. But the hard truth of Virginia Tech's starting five is that it is sorely lacking in the three-point shooting department. We're talking about a lineup of Keve Aluma, Justyn Mutts, Nahiem Alleyne, Tyrece Radford, and Wabisa Bede. So not much in the three-point shooting department there. Thankfully, plenty off the bench with the likes of Jalen Cone and Hunter Couture. Cone had 12 points off the bench, so he can always get it done. I want to see him shooting threes early and often. There is no such thing as a bad shot for Cone. So if Virginia Tech had maintained this momentum, you know, being up 17 in the second half and made it the blowout that it should have been, perhaps players like Darius Maddox and Joe Bamisile could have gotten more minutes. You know, those young players could really do with some early season minutes in ACC play, but it was the core that was relied upon tonight. And frankly, Virginia Tech should just be grateful that they found a way to win in spite of so many critical mistakes down the stretch. 11 turnovers is not a bad total, but the timing of the turnovers could not have been worse. So thankfully, Miami's full court defense was not completely suffocating. And I do think that if Chris Slikes had been available for the Hurricanes, this might have been a different result. But bottom line is, Virginia Tech is now 2-0 in ACC play, 8-1 overall. Expect them to remain ranked, assuming that they can go out and get a tough win against UVA on Saturday. But this is definitely a tournament team that Mike Young is cultivating in Blacksburg. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you've watched for this long, you might as well subscribe to my channel.